This is one by Steve Caruso, MLIS. He's translated Aramaic languages professionally for over 15 years with a focus upon the Galilean dialect, the language spoken by Jesus of Nazareth. He is presently in the program called for some sort of internet company by the look of it. The Aramaic New Testament, though he keeps track of here on the Aramaic New Testament, though he keeps track of Aramaic and media and scholarship at large, and continues to work on various Aramaic local plant and projects. There's Steve Caruso. And he states here, Victor Alexander's Aramaic Bible translation, or how to tell apart Syriac from Galilean Aramaic. And he states he's been aware of Victor Alexander's website, va.com, which is down. We revived it. Found a way to do that. We'll bring it to you through our YouTube channel, Ministry of the Real Truth. For quite some time now, it was one of the very first places on the internet which supported an Aramaic Bible translation, and it today has a significant amount of web traffic each month. Well, it's down, so that isn't happening of late. As of late, however, this guy noticed links popping up often on Twitter supporting that Alexander's work comes from Galilean Aramaic, and sure enough, when clicking through, at least as of March 7th of that year, he found claims that it was from the Galilean dialect of the ancient Aramaic. However, listening to the audio recordings, such as his recordings of the Lord's Prayer, which we showed you, it's immediately evident that there is little Galilean, such as Jesus' dialect of Old Galilean, Western Old Aramaic dialect about his work, and that it instead rests very heavily upon the Syriac Peshitta, which he probably knows that language. He knows many of those dialects. A work composed in classical style in Eastern Middle Aramaic dialect. Now we'll be talking about the modern Syriac that everybody is familiar with, everybody's learned, right? Probably not an older form, a more ancient, original ancient or very old form, who knows. As an example of this, Steve Caruso says, allow me to provide his rendition of the Lord's Prayer, Galilean translation of the Lord's Prayer, on va.com, when it was up. Avon Dabishmaya Nith Kadash Shemuk, etc. etc. First of all, when listening to the audio recording, the first red flag to stick out was his pronunciation. He pronounces soft, is it ka? Like ch and choo-choo train, endings that were classically pronounced he pronounces it uk. He pronounces soft bait as W in all contexts rather than a mixture of V and W. These are not Galilean features, they are features seen in Neo-Aramaic dialects. So that's what a new Aramaic, a modern Aramaic. Okay. So this person knows the modern Aramaic, not one that would have been much older, perhaps. Secondly, there are matters of morphology where there are many more. These are the most obvious and glaring. What he shows as Nith Kadash and Nihwe would have been closer to Yith Kadash and Yihwe in Jesus' dialect. Canaan would have been at least in written form Inan, or the gutturals overall would have been softened in Galilean and sometimes written differently. How do you know? You had to be there to hear Christ and his disciples actually speak it, right? Okay, so you know better than a native born Aramaic speaking translator from Nahrein, Mesopotamia, from the motherland. Oh my gosh. These are Eastern Aramaic, specifically Syriac features, but this is no surprise as upon further examination, what he was trying to call Galilean Aramaic was simply taken verbatim from the Syriac Peshitta. Incorrect. At first, when he first translated from the original Eastern Syriac, Eastern Peshitta, etc. Okay, he completed the New Testament, and then the high priest came along apparently. See, what is he doing? He says, I'm working on this, and translating from the original Syriac, all my Christian friends, whatever. Yeah, the priest came back. He says, now what are you doing? I've just completed it using the Syriac. He says, why did you use the Syriac? Because it's wrong. Okay, you should be using the Tab Ashret, that's the original. And apparently he bought a a copy of the original manuscripts in a Bible format. That's what he's reading on that video that we first showed you, the Adam and Eve story. Okay. That's what he's reading from. And then he found a way to revive that dead language, the Eashoa, Ashurai, Ashurai, etc., and translates the Galilean Aramaic, supposedly of the Kitab Ashurai, the Syrian Aramaic, etc., etc., as stated on his website. Okay. These are Eastern Aramaic, specifically Syriac features, he claims, but this is no surprise as upon further examination what he was trying to call Galilean Aramaic was simply taken verbatim from the Syriac Peshitta. As far as this guy was able to ascertain, there's nothing about this translation that places it closer to Jesus' language than any of the other Aramaic Bible translations out there. So when you read over his website or any other website that supports original Aramaic claims, keep this information in mind and compare that language, the language features. If you see one Nith Kadash or something like it in the Lord's Prayer, you know you're probably looking at Syriac. Okay. Here's 5 thoughts on Victor Alexander's Aramaic Bible translation, or how to tell apart the Syriac and Galilean Aramaic. Okay, asking these questions here. And this one asks, so is it Abun, or Avon, a father in Aramaic, or does he say my alphabet in heaven, Aleph, Bait, cosmic spirit, within and without? An Aramaic claimation this person was working on. He had to log in to post their comment, etc. Okay, so that's that guy claiming to know how to speak a language better than a native born fluent Aramaic speaking person from Nahrein or Mesopotamia. We're going to jump into this one. Another one we found by a guy called Daniel C. Branham Steele. Yeah, I thought there was a guy called Bennett, so maybe this is this guy. Okay, who talks exclusively about Victor Alexander, and it's dated Sunday, December 29, 2019, 3 to 4 years ago. Victor N. Alexander is alive. Vic Alexander, a native Aramaic language speaker who undertook to translate the entire New Testament and a large portion of the Old Testament from the ancient Aramaic into English, is alive and living in Glendale, California. Vic's website, va.com, went offline years ago, and emails to Vic went unanswered. Yep, we found that. So we're doing this tribute video to you, Mr. Vic, because we've got some questions we'd like to ask you, but we can't seem to get hold of you. As this guy often used Vic's translations, he received a number of inquiries as to whether Vic had passed. Well, we assure you he didn't. Even his residence in Burbank changed hands. It turns out Vic had health issues, moved closer to his treatment centre, and that treatment made it impossible for him to continue his website and translation work. Well, there's other information that says differently, so that's why we're doing this tribute video and asking Vic himself, who is our subscriber. Thank you for subscribing to us, Mr. Vic, and that he can verify whether these are actual true statements or wild assumptions or a total load of rubbish, because we have read differently. Okay. This guy Daniel Steele recently re-established communication with Vic. His website, this information copied and corrected, etc., etc. Investor billionaire, June 2017 to May 2018, 1 year. 118, 1 year. Okay, it's got here. I found out that I'm the sole heir of Nimrod Alexander, first CIA director, who placed money under my name since 1906 and was assassinated by foreign enemies, leaving me a fortune which cannot be estimated in dollars and cents. I have converted that fortune to the benefit of all those who want to make the world a better place. It says contact someone at this email. underneath that it says, yes, it seems Vic might have some residual cognitive effects from his treatment. He ain't no billionaire. Please do not judge him for that. Instead, please respond to this. He informed Vic that Duke had left a message offering support on Vic's story of Jesus from his own words. Amazon page. Vic responded, thanks Dan, can you encourage these people to make a small contribution directly to me? Thanks, Vic to Alexander. Later Vic responded with this, thanks Dan, I will send you the book as I receive your order. I have to help live with some money. My son-in-law, Donald Trump, has prevented everyone from sending 1 cent. God bless Victor Isaac Alexander. VA.com has been removed from mypeer.com account by US government hacker so as to starve me and live financially. Okay, so that's why we did this video, Mr. Vic, to find out if this is all truth or fabrication, assumption, or a whole lot of rubbish. Okay, so hopefully you're out there and you can see it and do a reply video. That would be great to clear it all up. Okay. Because what we found here is this guy says your middle name is Victor Isaac Alexander, so that caused us to question, is this guy talking a load of rubbish? Yeah. And this thing about Donald, your son-in-law Donald Trump, etc. Another comment was, I don't have any money to use a new hosting account. My Bible translation has been shut down by the order of President Trump, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Pope Francis I, and the US government. True or false? Mr. Vic. And one last response for today. Hi Dan, yes, people can order directly from me, blah blah blah. My VA.com has been stolen, but if you send me $100 I can repost my Bible page from another web hosting company. Well, we would do that for you if you gave us the permissions to do that, Mr. Vic. Clearly, Vic has been affected cognitively by his medical treatments. I can't hold it against him, and his prior work of translation is unaffected. So if you have profited from Vic's many years' effort of translating the ancient Aramaic scriptures into English and would like to help him out, please consider sending a contribution directly to him. Okay, that's what it says. You can contact them apparently at that time with this email here. Okay. Yeah, because this guy said his middle name was Isaac, not really trusting this guy. We have our doubts. Okay, he's basically saying send it to me, probably at this address. Don't know that. He said there at that point he had asked Vic to lower his prices to sell many more of his books, as this guy believed he has priced himself out of the market. He deserves to be compensated for his efforts. Well, we got a version. We got this version here from him, very kindly, for around about say $50 New Zealand, roughly, and that included the postage and handling. And we need another copy because it's getting a bit tatty here and there, not from neglect or misuse, but it's just one of those things, books get old. I should have taken better care of it as well. But we use your website, we revived and make notes rather than take it out there, so it goes, right, give me that, and runs off with it, because we found in a local Christian bookshop a copy of this, right, priced at $100 New Zealand. I thought, what the hell? And the guy says, well, it doesn't sell very well, okay, for some reason. So he says, oh, how about a discount? I don't think so. The price is $100, right? So we went online, contacted Mr. Vic, and got it at a much better price. He asked Vic to lower his prices to sell many more of his books, as he believed he has priced himself out of the market. He deserves to be compensated for his efforts, but I think what this guy thinks, he could get it by selling massively at a lower price, at a lower price than he is currently asking. That is just this guy's opinion. Buy his books through Amazon.com. It will be as a contribution to him. Of course, direct small contributions would help Vic and live. Yeah, okay, with New Zealand and Amazon, it's a bit different. Most sites seem to cater for everyone but New Zealand. Okay, say if I were to get from someone via Australia, living in Australia, a relation or friend or whatever. Okay, from Amazon. Okay, this man was asked, "Why, Dan, do you promote Vic Alexander's translations? He is a solo worker, and by your own account, the translations are full of typos." Yeah, that's correct. Okay, he's an elder person, he wears glasses, so overlook that, give the guy a break. Okay, the translators of the King James Version, it's a really huge brick, right? They also messed up way back in the old days, in the Latin or whatever. They put, especially, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." The scribes copied it incorrectly and put, "Thou shalt commit adultery," or something along those lines. And this big KJV concordance here, in regards to Matthew 2:16 or something like that, says this verifies what the prophet said, prophet Jeremy. So yes, this is one of those things that happens. Right, it's supposed to be Jeremiah, and they put the prophet Jeremy. Okay, and this guy replies to this comment, "Because he is approaching the writings of Aramaic speaking authors as an educated Aramaic speaker, the whole kit and caboodle of the scriptures was Aramaic speaking agents acting in an Aramaic world. They had an Aramaic worldview, Aramaic thoughts, ideas and expressions. He does not give a hoot if a period is on the wrong side of a quotation mark, or if a word is obviously misspelled. Vic's idiomatic phrasing of Aramaic ideas has been invaluable to this particular author of this owner of this website, this weblog. Line after line, I see that this and that passage have been mistranslated, as we did, and then misunderstood, and that this person has misread this or that passage for decades. Whole basic doctrines he's held had been based on false assumptions and misunderstandings which he would never have known were false if he had not read the Aramaic point of view from Vic, from the website va.com, and this translation from Victor N. Nimrod, not Isaac, Nimrod Alexander, right? So we agree with that. It made it a hell of a lot easier, unravelled all the confusions from the original, the Americanized Bible modern versions, NIV, King James, which is Shakespeare speak, Amplified Bible, etc., etc. God is doing a different thing than this author had ever known or assumed. Victor Alexander has turned his whole world upside down, and that's a good thing. Thanks, Vic. Yeah, thanks out there, Vic, for that. Yep, it's really made things clearer. Your translation, really appreciated it. Really appreciate it. Finally, I have some direction as to what it is that is really going on. Okay, and he states here, he doesn't know if Vic will ever lower his prices on his translations and story of Jesus from his own words, which he also highly recommends. But he was exceedingly glad to have them mirror minor errors and all. He has never asked for a dime on his blog, okay, and has never received anything from Vic or anyone else. He acted solely for the Lord. In the ancient Aramaic church, the congregation of his brethren, which exists solely in having the ancient Aramaic worldview. For it, I humbly ask you to support Vic. Okay, it's somebody's comment there, of his comment. Okay, and there's 13 comments that follow. Okay, and people's opinions and views. This guy retorts this guy who came at him with something, and it goes on like that. Okay, so we are the Ministry of the Real Truth, striving to bring you the real truth, the whole truth, and this was a tribute to Victor N. Alexander, the translator of the Aramaic New Testament, etc., etc., a native-born Aramaic-speaking translated filmmaker from Nahrein, Mesopotamia, Syria. There was another one where apparently the Elephant Man, Dr. John Merrick, and supposedly the Queen of England actually, with the CIA, actually conspired and were the ones who caused the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust, not Hitler. So we are asking Victor N. Alexander, can you verify that? Because we saw it on another website or blog site like this, a guy called Bennett, or maybe it was this guy here, stating that, right, that you had actually said that. So yeah, this is a tribute video to you, Mr. Victor N. Alexander, not Mr. Victor Isaac Alexander. We hope you really like it. If you do, let us know. We'd like you to critique our actual YouTube channel as well, if you can. You don't have to. It would be great to hear from you, from the horse's mouth as such. That we're on the right track, because sometimes we think we might have slid off somewhere, got it wrong, because we're not obviously like you, native born from Nahrein, speaking those languages. You have given us deeper insight over those years that we communicated with you. Yeah, I'm the guy that wrote you, and you says, wow, you find some amazing things on the internet in regards to the Aramaic scriptures, and we had a little chuckle. Okay, so here's to you. Long may you live. Allah, Allah, blessings upon you, and also those of Eashoa or Eashoa, Jesus the Messiah. Thanks for all your translation there, Mr. Vic, and we're glad to have you, our mentor, as a subscriber. Okay, so you other people out there enjoyed this video. It's about time, we felt it's about time that we, did some video on this man that we mention a lot throughout our videos. Okay, it's Victor N. Alexander. So if you like this, subscribe to our channel. Add your comments, give us a couple of these. We'll get back to you on your comments as soon as we can. And then go share this video with all your church friends, Christian friends, Jewish friends, Syrian, Aramaic, Mesopotamian, etc., friends, Islam, Muslims, your cat, your dog, and anyone else that you can find. Okay, that we are the ministry of the real truth, and we're bringing you real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but that truth. Okay, we will see you on the next exciting video. Oh yeah, set that notification bell so you don't miss out. Okay, on the next latest, greatest video we'll be bringing you real soon.